Okay. Hello, my name is Brian. I am currently in the process of rebuilding a 1974 Beetle. I have the engine part way torn down, so I am technically in the middle of actually an engine repair, but I thought why not record it and see what happens. Maybe I know I'm going to learn a lot along the way, but maybe someone else can learn something too. So that's what this is. I will have multiple camera angles. To be honest, this is more of just a test project right now. This is officially a part one of a series that I hope to continue, and hopefully I'll be able to finish up this project, as technically it is my first project, but we are going to do our best. And hopefully I learn a lot along the way, and if anyone else is here, you can learn a lot. And if I do anything that is wrong when it comes to this specific vehicle, I'd be more than happy to learn about it. So let's get started and see what we got. And here's the actual vehicle that we have. This is a 1974 Volkswagen Beetle. It is a regular Beetle, not a Super Beetle. This was found in a garage that one of my family members acquired. And unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of history behind it. What we do have is we know the car, thanks to the neighbor. The car was parked in about 2008, and it had sat there ever since. When we found the vehicle, the engine was still in place. I do have the engine right there, but this rear right wheel was taken off, so this doesn't have any brakes at all on this side, nor does it have a wheel bearing. We just popped the wheel on there so that way we can roll it out of that garage and get it put into my super tiny garage. I did, however, after looking through it, find a bunch of new parts and parts that were just taken off in general. All four original hubcaps in good condition. I do have the fenders. One is currently in a wheelbarrow over here. The other one is hanging up on a mattress that I have yet to get rid of. But for the most part, it looks like it's just dusty and dirty. I did give it a bit of a scrub down as far as the door panels and stuff go. I'd like to take a power washer to the rest of it. The first thing I did for this vehicle specifically is put a new battery in it. I wanted to see if the electricals work. With the new battery, the ignition did light up, the dash lights came on, but the engine would not crank over. I wasn't sure if it was a starter or if it was an issue with the engine itself. Later I found out it was an issue with the engine itself. But it took all of 2 YouTube videos to figure out how to actually pull this engine out. Super easy, super simple. It's almost completely just 4 bolts bolted to the transmission. And then just getting a couple wires and some tubes out of the way. So we got that far. Where I'm at right now is, I did find out that the cylinders, or the rear 2 pistons were actually seized to the cylinders. So I took some PB Blaster, took the heads off, let everything sit for a couple of weeks. And then I was able to have everything bust free. So technically everything moves right now. I have the cylinder heads just kind of mocked up so that way the cylinders wouldn't pop out when I was cranking over the engine. But in the process of freeing things up, I did break one of the fins off of one of the cylinders, and I looked up how much new cylinders were, and they were only about $200 for cylinders and pistons. So that was my Father's Day gift. So that's what's actually in this box here, is some parts that I am looking forward to putting on. Okay, so now we are here. I brought the box up to a more manageable level so we can actually look at the parts that I bought. As you can see from right here, I did take all out apart. I have the push rods, the rocker arms, the push rod tubes, which look like just need a bit of a cleanup, and the new seals, which should be in this box, and then just a clutter of other stuff that I'm gonna have to figure out how to go back on. I'm not exactly an organized person. Organized chaos, that's what I call it. All right. Right here we have the gasket set. I actually have valve cover gaskets for it, but here are the pushrod tube seals. It looks like for the oil strainer, and then everything for the exhaust and intake, and the seals for various other components. I don't know exactly right now off the top of my head. Oh, those might be, no, that's for the strainer. Okay. I did have to get a new set of head studs. These ones are pretty rusty, and most of them came out because they're seized to the actual nut. So I thought it would just be a good idea to replace those. All in all, I only spent about $300 on all of this, and this does include pillets, cylinders, and piston heads, but there are the head studs. And inside this box are pistons and cylinders, along with the wrist pins. Can't forget the wrist pin. I did already go through and pre-check these, so everything is good there. I do have to fix the orientation of the actual pistons themselves, because they are slightly off. There's that arrow. I don't know if you can see it off of this camera, but there is an arrow on the actual piston that points towards the front. So once we actually get that pushed out, because you can, once it's in, you can attach the wrist pin before you put the cylinder on. Push that all the way out like that, and then that'll allow me to actually attach the wrist pin and keep the piston inside the cylinder. And I'll be able to put some lube in there. So that is what we have, and that is what we plan on doing. So the first thing I got to do is get those old head studs out and basically get this down to a bare engine, crankshaft, and connecting rods. All right, so here's the engine. I apologize about my camera angles. I don't have a tripod. I'm using my phone and it's propped up on my toolbox right now. So that's what we're working with, and that's what we're gonna do it with. So my first goal is to get one side done and make sure everything fits as it should. So here's the actual engine. First thing I want to do is take off the cylinder heads. I'm going to do one side at a time just to make things easier, but I need to figure out how I'm going to get those head studs out because they are probably seized in there. And then we should be able to, I know the heads can come off themselves. The nuts that I have in there just mocked up is so that I was able to actually turn the crankshaft to make sure that was still moving freely after I freed up those pistons. As far as I can tell, it is. There is still oil inside of this as well, so hopefully that is tells me that the crankshaft bearings and connecting rods are still okay and in one piece. So I'm going to take this head off and then pop these cylinders off, pop the wrist pins out of the pistons, take those pistons off, and hopefully be able to put the new pistons on. I need a 15. If there's one thing I've learned about this Beetle since I've started is all you really need is a 15 and a 13. I still got a bit of a charge. Don't worry, these head bolt or nuts are not tight. I'm not going to do any damage to the actual heads themselves. They were just on there to be able to hold the cylinders back whenever I was taking them off. So, plus I'm replacing them anyways, so typically it'll be all right. That guy off. I was housing them in valve covers. And I have one more. The washer will come off with the head. I want to make sure I keep these with the sides they're supposed to be on. Unfortunately, I don't remember which side was which. That is not good. I should be able to figure it out by rockers, because these ones should, okay, so. Since the rockers go on that side, I know that this one goes on this side. Put that in the valve cover, and then as far as the heads, the valves look pretty good. Everything looked kind of burnt, so I'm just gonna give her a nice cleaning off. But as far as the valve seats go and everything, it all looked pretty decent. I'm not trying to turn this into a show car or anything. This is just to get running and maybe drive on a weekend basis. As you can see, I got a stud I got to replace because that broke off, and then it decided to round off, so I got to figure out that. I believe there should be a stud in that box as a replacement for that. And then we can actually get to the cylinders themselves. And these are pretty simple. Should be able to just pull them off. Perfect. It's one old cylinder right there. I'm going to try to keep these in order so that way I have a better idea of how these go back together with the new ones. So I'm going to set that bad boy right down there. And then we can get this other one off. Unfortunately, my cooler's in the way, so I don't know how well my laptops are actually going to work on this one. It was the rear two cylinders that were seized on this one, so that'd be this one and then this guy over here. So it wouldn't be surprising if this one's a little bit more stuck than the other one was. By any means, but it was the one that had the PB blaster sitting on it for an extended period of time. So I can push off. Or, I don't know if, there's that. Oh, man. So I got that at top dead center now. I can get some more leverage on. Dang. She is not wanting to move. Oh. Boom. Oh. Pistons. Oh, I guess I did soak both of them in that. Oh well. All right. So now we have the pistons out. Well, cylinders out. Now we can work on getting those pistons out. So well, at the very least, I should be able to get these piston heads off, be able to inspect the connecting rods just to make sure they're good on this side, and then be able to do a mock fit of the pistons and cylinders, hopefully. And honestly, it'd probably give me more leverage if I got the pistons out of the way in general, so we are going to work on getting those out. And lucky for me, I'm not sure how much this camera can actually see because of the light, these piston rings look like they just have a small little snap, or the wrist pins look like they just have a small little snap ring that I should be able to reach with a regular pair of pliers, as long as I have a regular pair of pliers. This is not a regular pair of pliers. Good enough for that. Alrighty, so that's that. Now, hopefully I can take a screwdriver or something, and hopefully this comes out easier than the pistons themselves. I don't have my hopes up for that one. So we set that right there. I wonder if the fact I'm using a dead blow is making a real difference. I do have other hammers. It's not a bigger hammer, but it'll give me more of a strike. Well, it's working. Huh, one piston. Man, those were tight in there, as they should be, but they should move a little bit smoother than that. So we're going to keep that piston with that cylinder, because that's the one it came from. My hand's a little wipe. Now we can actually give a good inspection of this end of the connecting rod. Grab my handy dandy flashlight. And the bearing surface doesn't look scored or anything. I'm not seeing any issues as far as that goes, so from what it's looking like, I should be able to pop the new piston in and have no problems. Before I'm done with this engine is going to get a nice good cleanup though. Maybe I should have done that before that. Nah, we'll clean it all together. Really hope this isn't a sign that the rear main seal is leaking, because if it is, everything I'm doing right now is wasted. Hey, we'll see. Anyways, other piston. So now take this. This way. So that's all the way out. And we can take, this seemed to work, screwdriver to get the snap ring out. I think it's moving. And piston number 2. Or 1. It's one of them. All right. Bring this boy back around. And we can inspect the other one and make sure I didn't do any damage to the actual thing. Looks dirty, but nothing a good cleanup can't fix. As far as everything else goes, I think this will be a-okay. We're gonna clean up this wrist pin just a little bit. Next, trying to get these head studs out. It's easier said than done. The only real thing you got to remember about the orientation of these is where your long ones go and where your shorter ones go. So you got 4 long, 2 medium, 2 short. That's it. As long as you can remember that, you'll be able to put the head back on no problem after the pistons and cylinders are in. So I need to find something that'll allow me to take those off, because I don't think any of these are going to move with just a regular pair of pliers. No. Not at all. I don't have my pair of vice grips either. And these don't have anything on the end that won't allow me to twist them. So, it's only one thing I can do in this situation. Go scrounge around for some tools. All right, I'll be right back. When I'm back, in this hand will be the right tool, hopefully. Got two of them. I don't know if any of them are going to work. So here we go. I'm going to try the one I'm least confident with. It's just a regular pair of pliers, but maybe the clamping force is a little bit better. Maybe I can get one. I'm going to loosen up. Nope. I don't think this will make a difference, except for ruin the threads. Nope. Fudge. Okay. Kind of wish all the nuts would have seized on these then, so I could have got them out, because, like I said, I think this is for the other side. I got a decent amount. They just came out, because these were stuck. Oh, good old channel locks. Ooh, yes. I don't know if it'll work for all, but it worked for one. I know most of what you're seeing on the engine right now is the clutch that's still attached. I'm not gonna replace that. One, the clutch material still looks pretty good. Two, there is documentation in here that the clutch was replaced shortly before it was parked, so I'm not too worried about the age. Plus, the added benefit of the engine comes out in 10 minutes. Do I want to keep taking the engine out? Absolutely not. But I want to at least get this thing running and see if we have to drive it before I start doing anything else to it, because I don't want to pour more money into an engine that won't run. Right now I'm only about, I'd say, $400 into this engine, and I'd like to keep it that way for now. Who knows? Maybe this project will evolve. Like I said, it does need a deep clean. Take her to the power washer. And once I do that, we'll be able to see exactly what we're working with as far as the body goes. I know there's some dents, at least one dent on the right rear fender that I'm going to take a dab at body work to figure out. And if the paint on this is still in good shape, hopefully I'll be able to find the paint code for it, because I do like orange. It's my favorite color, and I think this orange will look good once it's cleaned up, and maybe give it a nice clear coat. But that is all the studs. I got all the studs out. So now I'm going to take some brake clean and a rag, kind of clean up this area. That way the cylinders are able to fit into a good clean surface, and then I can hopefully clean out those thread holes, so that way everything goes in with no issues whatsoever. Because I don't know how much this little camera, cheap little camera, can pick up, but there is a lot of grime.
Hey, this is Brian from the future. Unfortunately, I didn't realize how long this video was going until I started editing. So I'm actually going to cut it short here for part one, and part two will be a direct continuation. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next.